Hello. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today as we dive right into episode number 15 of our live show and podcast. It's really cool to be here together because when we started these episodes, we wanted to share more about coaching, consulting, how you can grow your thought leadership, how you can really step up. And even when we are recording this, it's getting colder here in Europe. But I really truly believe that if you get inspired, if you know what next action you can take, it can really give you that energy, even if it's a bit cold outside and you feel like, oh, I don't really know what direction to take with my business right now. So I really want you who are tuning in, if you're a coach, consultant, if you're listening to this, if you're following our work, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on all the podcast platforms. We are on Spotify, we are on Anchor, we're on Apple, all different. Just type Thought Leadership Podcast. You will find us. You can also find us in the Facebook group, in the Facebook community, on our page, YouTube, etc. So wherever you type Thought Leadership Podcast and live show, you will find us. And of course, if you like our episodes, please subscribe, please tag us and share with your friends, comment what you loved about the episodes. Really engage with us, because the more we engage, the more we become a community and we can co-elevate in this year. So this is really about this. What about episode number 15? What we're going to talk about today is the 4 types of automation to set up in your coaching business. And I like this topic a lot because I've been on an experiment this month. When I'm recording this, it's in October 2020. And actually now it's November, but in October, I was actually exploring how much my business can basically step away. How much can I step away from my business and with delegation and automation, create a sustainable, mission. And I did 2 weeks basically just working with my clients and not doing any lead generation, no marketing, no sales. And I was happy to see that the impact on my business, it stayed the same. It was actually working better. We got booked on some really big podcasts as guests, and we got some really cool people into our network as well, and members. So it was really working. And that's what I'm teaching my clients now in our stage 3 program, Momentum, where we talk about automation. So before I go into why should you care about automation if you have a coaching consulting business, I just want to ask you a question and just think about this for a second. If you stepped away from your coaching business for a month, what would happen to your impact and profit? I'm going to repeat that. If you stepped away from your coaching business for a whole month, what would happen to your impact and profit? And if you're getting a bit uncomfortable with this question, then you should definitely tune in right now, because this episode is for you. When you hear that question, when you hear like stepping away for a month, meaning like you go for holidays or you want to take time off or you want to work on another project and you need your full attention on that, being able to step away for 1 month in your business, that's the next level. So when people come to me and they're like, they have a 6-figure coaching business, but they have been hustling themselves to 6 figures, that's not sustainable. You can only go, hustling mode for a while until you get tired and you're actually not spending time with your family, you're not spending time with your friends, you're not investing in yourself, your health. All those things will, not have the attention that they need for you to feel healthy and sustainable and joyful in your business. So automation is a must. We need to talk about this because automation is not only email marketing. There is so much more that comes to when it comes to automation. I'm going to talk about 4 different ways that we teach our clients to create automation. So just going to come back to your role in your coaching business. If you are growing, and I'm not speaking to the ones who are like, okay, I'm kind of fine where I am. I'm speaking to you who want to create real impact, who's like, I'm done being stuck at this level. I'm done doing everything by myself. I'm done trying to figure it out. I really want to grow. I really want to create more impact. I want to have more profit. I want to have more freedom. All of that, not just part of that, all of that. If that's you, then you're a visionary. And what does that mean? That is that you might probably have moments of high energy and you want to go out there and you want to create, you're doing challenges, you're doing webinars, you're doing all this stuff. And then you have moments when you're tired, or moments when you need to kind of step away. If you've done a 5-day challenge, or let's say you have created a new program and you've been working really hard with your clients, there are weeks when you need to kind of take a break and say, I need to step back and relax. And in those moments, if your business stops because you stop, that's not sustainable. So we want to make sure that you can follow your energy and not force yourself to work harder when you're not really capable of it, because your energy is lower or you need to rest, and that's completely normal. You need to do something else. When you go down in energy, your business should stay the same. When you go up in energy, your business will stay the same. Basically, your business is always stable, it's always sustainable, it's always running, whereas you allow yourself as a visionary to go high up and go down and rest and do whatever that's needed for you to be really creative. The problem, what happens is that when coaches, consultants come to me and they have a 6-figure business and they're getting tired of hustling and trying to do the sustainability manually. Now we want to create more automation so you can create real consistency in your business with you not having to be that consistent, because you can be able to, step away like I did this 2 weeks and my business is still running. That's the way we want to create. That's a real lifestyle design. That's a real business where you are not, making your business depend on each step that you're doing. It's sustainability, and it's so much better for your clients. So this is what we want to say. We want to step away from the hustling, and we want to create a real consistent 6-figure business and plus with your coaching. So if you're in, just type yes below, because I want to hear you. I want to see more of your energy, because we are not just talking here. We are creating real stuff together. All right. Now, happy, sustainable 6-figure business is automation and consistency. That's what we want to remember. You can be yourself, you can be your creative, you can be the visionary, and the business is running and your team is happy, your clients are happy, because there's enough sustainability and consistency and stability in your business. Now, we teach this in Momentum, our Stage 3 program. We teach this for 6 weeks, a whole work cycle on automation, because there is so much to cover. And of course, I cannot cover everything in one episode, but I'll do my best to give you a base so you can stand on. And to make sure that you really implement, if you go below in the show notes, you will find a checklist. I created a checklist for you for free. It's in the automation checklist. In that automation checklist, I've put the 4 sections I cover with my clients, with the 3 top things that you should cover in each one of the sections. So basically, when you go into that, just download that, start getting to work on that. It's not all of them, because we cover more in the program, but it's gonna give you enough to stand on for sure. So get into the checklist, download it, and get to work. You'll be able to see the 12 most important parts you want to install in your business right now if you want to grow a real coaching consulting business that has a big impact, even when you are creating, when you are really stepping to your visionary. So this is what we are doing. So in the show notes, before we continue, just pause this video, stop here, and download the checklist and and we can go through this together. It's gonna be even better. So do that. If you're watching the replays, if you're watching the videos or the podcast, you're listening to this, stop here, get yourself the workbook, get yourself the checklist, just in the show notes, and now we continue to number 1. I'm gonna go through the 4 sections that you need to cover to be able to create real automation in your coaching consulting business. So here we don't only talk about automation when it comes to email marketing. We talk about real stuff where you'll be able to really cover the most important parts of your business and create more stability as you move into the next level of your business. All right, so let's go. Number 1. What do we want to cover here? We want to cover the things that are taking the most time and that are the most time consuming and also sometimes time draining. And the first thing we cover is meetings. So if you're a coach consultant, you might be having a lot of calls with people who are not qualified. You might be having calls with people who are kind of qualified, but you're spending too much time on those calls to close the sales. So we want to create a better approach to giving away your one-on-one time. Because remember, your one-on-one time is the most valuable. If you're giving that away to everybody all the time, you will never be able to actually work on the stuff that's going to make a bigger difference in your business. So therefore, the first section that we cover is how do you approach your meetings and how do you create automation in your meetings. And in the checklist, you'll be able to find those 3 more important steps. But why we are doing this, why are we automating the section with meeting, is that most of the times it's the most time consuming part that you will have in your business. And what does that mean? It means that you will be able to create automation for your lead generation when it comes to sales calls, audit calls, all these pre-qualifications that you're doing for your clients. You're going to be able to create automation for getting booked on podcasts or getting podcast guests on your podcast, or speaking engagements and partnerships. And you'll be able to create automation for your clients. So your clients will be able to create actual, bookings in your agenda, coaching clients. If you're doing one-on-one or you're giving away a couple of, sessions to your group coaching clients, you'll be able to actually put them in an agenda without you manually have to go back and forth. Because if you're doing the back and forth, one thing that happens is that you spend a lot of time finding out what's the time zone, and then you're like, where did we write? And we have, you're writing an email, or maybe you're having direct messaging on WhatsApp, and you lose the information on when is the meeting actually going to happen. And secondly is that because there's no agenda and there's no end time, you will spend a lot of energy around the actual call, where you can maybe have that call in 15 minutes and you're spending 45 minutes or 1 hour on that call. So you want to create automation in that and actually allowing people to book themselves in your agenda specifically for, the type of call, with an agenda, with what are they going to cover, how long time that is, and how to reschedule if they have to do it without you having to do that. And now we cover all of that. We cover in the automation checklist when you download it, so you'll be able to actually, go through those step by step. So what I'm covering here is the more understanding why we do that, because a lot of people are getting stuck in this back and forth, like booking meetings and then also having no agenda and no end time of their calls. That's something we want to step away from in the first beginning, because you will not have enough time otherwise to create anything else if you're just getting on those calls that are not pre-qualified. So that's the really first thing we do, because meetings do take up too much time. I truly believe that most meetings don't even have to happen. So if you're going to have a call, and this is something that you will learn to have less of, because you will realize that, your one-on-one time, many things can be done by chat, or it can be done by email, or you don't even need to get on that call most of the time. So if you're going on the calls, at least having an automation set up. So when you open, like when I open my schedule, I'm booked in for podcast. I might have my podcast guests ready. My clients have booked themselves in. I have the calls with the ones that I really are highly pre-qualified leads. All that is already in my agenda without me having to manually do that. And how amazing is that? And that's exactly what I want for you, because this is what I teach my clients in Momentum. When my clients do that, the first thing we do is we get those meetings up and running, and that way they can start to really create more space in their agenda and be more cautious with their time. Okay, number 2. We talked about your time and how you spend your time in meetings. And the second thing with a lot of people are losing time is with their content. So they create content, and they might be like creating Instagram posts or LinkedIn, Facebook posts, and they do an email, and it's never really reused again. So what we want to go away from is publishing, constantly 2-3 times per day without having any repurposing or any circling the content that you already created. So what we want to do instead is to create evergreen content. And evergreen content means that it's content that's going to be alive even after you have recorded it and published it. So it's not like when you go on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever platform you go on and you publish something and then it disappears And then some people saw it, but it's not going to be alive so long. It may be, people like it and comment it, and when they don't do that anymore, it just disappears. What we want to do is to create content like a YouTube channel or a weekly podcast or a live show or something that people can kind of come back to anytime. And the more people are watching that, the more it goes up in views and the more people can discover you. So evergreen content allows you to step away from this hamster wheel where you are basically just trying to create more content, but it never really gets to someone because your communities might not be big enough and you don't get enough reach on each post. So we want to really switch that. And what that allows you to do is that, for instance, when I stepped away from this last month for 2 weeks, I was away from the business in terms of sales and marketing. It allowed me to have content going out 2 or 3 times per week, even when I wasn't there. And quality content, high value content that people really want to engage with pre-scheduled, pre-scheduled posts and everything ready to go, allowing people to consume that content, get knowledge, get information, get value without me having to publish every single day. Very, really amazing. This is something that we do a lot as well when we get to, in all our programs, we teach how to create evergreen content because it's such an important part of what you're creating. If you're going to create high value content, which I really want you to create, not just create like inspiring posts, actual real value, high value content, if you're going to create that, it will take you some time. It will take you more time to then create just like a selfie on the beach, right? So we want to create content that is highly, highly valuable, like people can really consume and they can learn something from it. And at the same time, if you're going to put all that effort into that, we want to make sure we actually use that content over and over again in different ways. So this is what I talk a bit more about that when you download the checklist, but I do really go deep into that topics when I work with my clients because I truly believe that evergreen content allows you to step away from this hamster wheel of just content creation where you don't see the end of it. So that's number 2. I already covered 2 of the most important parts that when it comes to, the other ones are really, really important as well. But if you get this right, let's just talk for a second. If you get away from giving your time away to everybody one-on-one without any pre-qualification, without any agenda, without any end time, plus you learn how to create evergreen content, how would your business change? Just think about it. If you just open your agenda and your calls are really pre-scheduled with the time needed to cover what has to be covered with that person, not just like unlimited time, really specifically knowing what's going to happen in the call, and your content goes out by itself every week, twice a week, how would you feel in your business? Would that make a difference? And if it would make a difference, then check out the checklist and get to work because it's really important to set this up. And it's just the thing. We can see things and we can say, well, it's going to be hard. We're going to be that and this and that. Automation, it is a bit like setting up systems and it takes a bit of time. But when you have it, it's going to work for you years and years ahead. I have set up automation in my business like 2 years ago that is still allowing me to benefit from it because I'm still having leads coming from that, even with me not putting effort, like manual work into creating anything new. That's really how automation works. You put up in the effort, you create more automation in your business, and it's going to feed you back. It's going to allow you to get real progress and real support from what you created. That's the beauty of automation. So I'm really excited for you who are listening and watching this episode to learn more about that. All right? Now let's talk about number 3, lead generation and lead nurturing. This is something that a lot of coaches get unclear about because when you have lead generation, what you want to create is that a constant flow of leads coming into your business, and your leads are not all going to be like, okay, I'm ready to get on board right now. There are some people who will have to get to know you and like you. And there's a Zig Ziglar's quote that I love that says, if people like you, they will listen to you. If people trust you, they will make business with you. So if you're running really fast and you're trying to create like, hey, do you want to work with me? Hey, do you want to work with me? Hey, do you want to work with me? It's not going to work because People need to see that you actually know your stuff. People need to see that they like your style of teaching, they like your style of coaching, they trust you enough, you have enough testimonials, they have seen your teaching style, they understand what promise you have, they understand how you can help them. All that takes time. So you need to create a system to, one, capture your leads, so kind of get in touch with them and keep them in your space. And at the same time, nurture them throughout the time. So they go from not knowing you to becoming smoking hot leads, wanting to work with you and nobody else. And that may take 1 week, 1 month, and sometimes up to 18 months. But you need to have enough people coming into your network so you'll be able to create that effect of, snowball effect of people actually contacting you to work together with you. So lead nurturing and lead generation in automated way is a must if you don't want to go into people's inbox and add people manually and frenetically try to find leads. If you are in a moment in your business where you need more clients, which is most people at some point in their time when they are creating coaching consulting businesses, if that's your case, then understand that it's not a sustainable way to run a business. You want to create the effect of leads before you get to a moment of I need them right now. Because when people feel that, if they feel that you are in despair or stress and like I need clients, then what's gonna happen is they're gonna run away. And we don't want to create that. We want to create some excitement working with you and saying, wow, this person knows their stuff and I need their help and I know they can help me and I have a lot to win working with this person. That's the way you want to feel your clients to feel. So if your clients feel like, oh my God, this person can help me, and they have the patience for me to kind of get to know them and understand more about them, and come to them, it's going to be very different. So you don't want to run after your client and like run them down and say, work with me. It's not a really nice way to do that. We want to step away from that. We want to nurture your leads. We want to, really educate them, get them excited, help them to understand how you can help them, get them to feel like you're the right person to help them to solve that specific problem. So when my clients come to me, for instance, we work with coaches, consultants, and we want to help them to get to first 10K a month and then to 20K per month and really impact more people with their thought leadership. That's what we do. And my clients who, like, if someone comes to me and they don't want to get to 10K or they don't want to get to 20K, well, then they need to understand what they need. They are the ones deciding what's really important for them right now in their business. The people coming to me, they come to me and say, I'm done hustling. I'm done trying to figure this out. I want to make real profit and impact without losing my freedom in my business. Can you help me? If they come to me and they say that, I say, yes, I can. If you're going to put the work in and you want to work with me and you want to put the effort into that, let's do this. But you don't want to run after people because not everybody are going to be ready at the same time. So this is why we create lead generation. We create more leads into your inbox, more leads into your network that you nurture, and you create lead nurturing automation that is not depending on you showing up every day. And I cover more about that in the actual checklist. You can go into and see 3 different ways that you can do that yourself. All right. I guess that you already understand the reason we do that, because if you are always trying to find new leads, you never have really enough. You're always going to be in this uncomfortable position where you're trying to find clients and in urgency, and that doesn't really work. We have to turn away from that type of hunting and have a more sustainable business where you have enough leads coming in, enough hot leads coming to you, and not really warming them up so they become smoking hot, wanting to work with you when they are ready. All right? Number 4. When your clients, so let your leads become smoking hot, you get them on board, and I actually add that in the checklist, how you can get them on board easier with automation. When you have that up and running, when they become your client, you can also create automation. And why do we do that? Is because imagine someone joining your group coaching program or someone signing up to your VIP coaching and they're super excited. And the next call is like next week on Friday. And there's almost like 7, 8, 9, 10 days before they're actually going to get on the call with you. What they are going to lose is that excitement. So we want to create automation to get people on board into your programs and getting excited and saying, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then they get exactly that moment when they get super excited, when they just joined the first 24 hours, the first week, they have stuff that they can work on. There are stuff that they can really create. They can start to create real results. This is how our clients actually do. When I had one of our last members came in 3 weeks' time, he made back more than the actual investment on the program. How could he do that? Well, one of the things is that there was enough to get to work on while he got into the program directly. Even if it was the weekend, even if it was a Saturday morning when I wasn't giving a coaching call to my group, he was able to get into work, sit down, work through that, see what he can do right now, and create results even before we got on the first calls. How amazing is that? Would you not like your clients to be able to come into your programs and have this beautiful, smooth onboarding where they are understanding exactly how your program works, they get part of the community, they get excited to be in the community, and they have enough to work on to get the first quick wins and to set up some of the things that are going to already create impact in their business. They're already winning. That's the way you want your clients to feel. They are already winning the moment they enter the first 24 hours. They're like, oh my God, I understand this and that and that. You're allowing them to access knowledge, access implementation, access tools straight away. That's powerful. So check out that in the automation checklist. I talk a bit more about that. So I think that's all about automation for today. I can cover much more about that, but I don't want to overwhelm you. And I also want you to understand that if you get to work on those 12 different ways that you can already create automation, that I talk about the 4 sections and the 12 different ways, 3 in each of the sections that I cover in the checklist. If you do this already, there's already going to be so much new things happening in your business that are not going to depend so much on you hustling and manually working on creating more impact. So of course you will continue creating impact by manually showing up day in and day out when your energy is up and your creative flow is there. But the moments where you're not, when you are if I'm asking you the question again, if you stepped away from your coaching business for a month, what would happen to your impact and profit? And you say, nothing would happen. It would be amazing. That's what's going to happen. And if you're feeling like that's what I want, well, re-listen to this episode. Go back, take the checklist, re-listen to this episode and implement and see what's going to happen. And please let me know in the comment or write to me in our email or in the Facebook group. Write and let me know how did it go. Because if you put that into place, you're already going to see a lot of results. So have a wonderful time, share, subscribe, and until next time, I look forward to seeing you really growing and shining and creating more impact with your work. Until next time, bye-bye.